Welcome back to Hidden Power. DLC has finally been announced for Pokemon Scarlet and Violet. We have 7 new Pokemon to review. Let's discuss everything we know about the hidden treasure of Area Zero. My name is Dusty Go-Goat. Today I'm with Soul Silver Art.
Yo.
And the Lumios Post.
Hi.
So guys, how are we feeling? It's the day after Pokemon Day, about 24 hours since we originally watched the trailer. There was a lot of information in this Presents. A lot of stuff that wasn't in the Presents, a lot of stuff that I did not expect at all. How are we feeling so far?
I'm gonna say the toxic Pokemon fan thing and say I need another Presents.
Yeah, definitely.
Not that it was bad, but just like, you know, it's, and I guess it's kind of the goal of a first trailer or a reveal trailer anyways, but like it was so intriguing what I saw that I'm like, okay, that's fantastic, great. Show me a little bit more, you know.
For sure.
Yeah, I agree to an extent. I mean, I expected something like that. I wish there was more to it. In general, like more to the actual trailer. I said this yesterday on our live stream, but I really was hoping that it would be on par with the Sword and Shield DLC one.
Yeah.
It was like just below par.
It's like, funny, when they announced that the trailer would be like over 20 minutes, I mean, a lot of us just assume that we're going to get like a 20-minute long trailer about Pokemon Scarlet and Violet, but obviously that wasn't the case. It seemed like we had a 5-minute trailer of Pokemon Sleep in there.
Yeah, there was a very long Pokemon Sleep segment that was painful.
Yeah,
but honestly,
no, that was rough. I remember sitting there and like kind of just thinking like, okay, come on, because like, you know, it's not that like
it's still done.
Sleep is taking up time, but it's that, you know, it's 25 minutes.
Yeah.
So like if you're at, you know, 18 minutes and they're still talking about Sleep, and like Soul said, they haven't touched Go yet. So you're like, okay, so they're gonna keep talking about Sleep here. That's gonna put us at 19 minutes. Yeah. Then they're gonna talk about Go for a minute, and so that leaves me
more
only
than a minute.
5 minutes for the Sword and Shield DLC. I don't like that, you know.
And we didn't even get the Pokemon ports. They didn't even announce any sort of virtual console games. That was the biggest upset for me, because I kept thinking, great, okay, we only have 3 minutes left. Surely they're gonna, you know, they can't fit in both of these trailers.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it got to a point. Right, when I saw the cafe remix thing, like, you know, the little fruit and all, that was the point where I noticed, like my wife even came home from her job, and, you know, I pulled it up for her, and when the cafe remix thing popped up, I said, you see, right here was the moment where I realized we are not getting both ports and DLC announcement in this Presents. She was like, which one did we not get? I was like, we did not get ports.
Oh man, so I don't even want to really get into this this could be its own video, but I really do think, I don't know, man, I think they mentioned Pokemon Home, right? I feel like there could be a Pokemon Presents in the next couple months where they, you know, after March, and when the eShop for the 3DS officially closes, where they say, okay, you know, in the Presents, they're going to say, okay, Pokemon Home is good to go. It's live. It's got some new features. It's a Generation 9 update. But then also to encourage you to download Home, and, you know, now what we'd like to show you is that, you know, you're going to play Generation 1 games. Now you can play Generation 2 games. Now you can play Generation 3 games. I feel like if they announced virtual console games, or what are we calling these? Like Pokemon ports, classic games on Nintendo Switch. Yeah. If they had announced that during this trailer, I think either that or the DLC, and probably that, probably the games would have been overshadowed by probably by the DLC.
I think so. New's always going to overshadow old.
Yeah, and the only
now
reason
I will say,
yeah,
there's totally going to be another Presents this year. There's never been a year with only one Presents. I mean, like, now that I've said that, I'm like, wait, how's there? But no, I really think there's always been at least 2. The Sword and Shield year with Isle of Armor, there was 3 Presents that year.
Wow. Okay.
Now, the first one was a direct. But then the second one was a Presents. It was when they started calling them Presents instead of directs. And then the third one was just focused on Unite. Y'all remember that burn? Everyone thought like it was like announced in the Presents, hey, next week we've got another Presents. And there were Johto plushies in the background. So everyone was like, let's go Johto. They're announcing it next week.
I couldn't believe it. When I was watching the Presents, there were like original boxes of Gens 1 through 3 games. Original boxes. And
Okay, but there also
your hint.
was all the
That's your
games
hint.
though.
that was the hint that I was looking at. So
Yeah.
I'll tell you this: like the reason why and maybe I sound just hopeless, or maybe I sound ridiculous, and like I'm clinging to something that's not actually going to be there. But the reason why I still have hope is because these DLCs are slated so far into at the end of the year, right? Like there's probably like 8 months in there where there's going to be absolutely nothing. What are we supposed to chew on? Pokemon Cafe Remix, right? Like, how is that going to be
Absolutely.
something to hold us over?
Literally
I
true.
would, right? Like, if the DLC was slated for the summer, all hope lost, and my original speculation that these ports would show up in 2024. That would be my. I would just cling to my original speculation with that.
You have to look at it from a financial perspective. I mean, at the end of the day, you can still get generations 1 through 2 on your 3DS. So why would I announce, if you have one more month before you can do this, why would I announce, oh, you can now get them if you've got Nintendo Online, you can pretty much get them for, not for free, but, no additional costs. When I know if I don't announce them today, then that means everybody's going to go, oh, it didn't happen. Well, then I need to make sure I do get Pokemon Yellow and Pokemon Crystal on my 3DS. So they rush to download it, they pay for it, and then when the deadline's up, Pokemon can be like, oh, did you not get it? No worries, here it is on Nintendo Switch. I mean, they gotta get that money. If they had announced it today, there would have been no sales of it.
Yeah, interesting. So, like, the last point I'll make is, I guess if we ever do get, right, like, if we actually are going to end up getting classic games, I hope they're not on Nintendo Switch Online, because I don't want to be paying $50 a year. I don't want to do that. I'd rather them give me these games just, like, in its own packaging. I want to buy them separately.
You want to own them. I definitely. I will not be getting anything. Like at all for that if that happens. Like I don't want to pay a monthly fee.
But even so, I still want to own these games, right? I would love. We're getting totally off topic, but I would love a like a physical version of these classic games. That'd be great. So guys, the biggest thing here for me at least is, well, one, that we got so many new Pokemon revealed. But also that we are getting 2 packs of a DLC. I think that was kind of expected, but then I started to think maybe they're going to put everything really in the back half of the year. And that is true. We are getting both of these DLC packs later in the year, which is really interesting to me. I mean, I think...
Very
I don't
sad.
know, what do you guys
I
think?
understand it, but it's very sad. Okay, so like, you even have, you have people have been saying this since Sword and Shield. They've been saying Pokemon should take another year in between generations because I'd rather have a polished, good-looking game than have the graphics mess that is Sword and Shield. And then they said the graphics mess that is Legends, and then the buggy mess that is Scarlet and Violet. And I understand that. I will admit, like, I love new Pokemon. So Soul, I think you and I have just had this discussion before, just like in DMs. Like, you're kind of with me. Like, it's just like, I want a Pokemon game every year with new Pokemon,
Well, they're going to do a game every year, whatever, like, it's DLC. So that's technically the game for this year.
But, like, I respect that, you know what, I get it, because they released Scarlet and Violet. They had, I think people forget this, Nintendo was issuing refunds for people complaining about how buggy Scarlet and Violet was. So yeah, if I was a company, that might be some incentive to maybe go, okay, our DLC was supposed to drop in June or April, whenever. Let's maybe push it back to the fall.
Yeah, I think they're mostly pushing it back because the game's not done. I mean, they didn't even show us They didn't show us any gameplay.
It didn't with Sword and Shield though.
Yeah, I know, because
it was all concept.
Yeah, because the game wasn't finished. You're right. The game wasn't finished. It was all concept. I don't think this is even close to being finished. They need another year. So it's fine. I mean, take their time.
There is some stuff that's kind of interesting though that suggests that at least some of it is being worked on. Like I don't know. I think I sent you two this, but like they even had in version 1.2, the patch that came out on Pokemon Day, they found that there is a list of scrap dex entries, and basically what this is it's a list of the old Pokemon that will be coming back in DLC. So like it had all the ones that they mentioned yesterday, like Dugong, Ninetales, all this, but then like it also had some more, like every single starter except for inborn superior. And so it literally
that's another
it
conversation.
shows they literally made that's the teaser for maybe a future episode. But
we know
but like
all
they
of that.
have all this honestly, but they have like this list of Pokemon they're bringing back that they've already got coded into the game. I don't know. It just makes me wonder how much is done. And for the record, Sword and Shield, it was a similar thing. Sword and Shield, they were able to find that for Crown Tundra. When they updated for Isle of Armor, they were able to find in the coding scrap dex entries for Crown Tundra, so they knew all the returning Mongs of Crown Tundra. They also, correct me if I'm wrong, Soul, you'll obviously be more of an expert on this, but they also found something in the coding like called White Steed and Black Steed, which ended up being Spectrier and Glastrier.
I forget what they were called, but yes.
I think they had all the fly points in Crown Tundra. Like, we didn't have a map of Crown Tundra, but like you could like scroll to the bottom and in coding, of course, and you could see fly points, and they did correlate exactly to where, like, the little church temple that Calyrex is caught at that you can fly to, all that stuff.
Yeah, it's true. So with talking about that, just talking about what we're gonna get, like, or that it's at the end of the year, right? So what are we gonna do all year long? That was like one of the biggest points of the whole thing for me. It was like, man, it's gonna be a while. So I already started thinking like, it's gonna be league season. It's gonna hold us through the whole thing.
It's just gonna be league season. It's
no,
just
because
like
things
2022.
Things like what he just said are probably gonna happen. Like, so we were talking about earlier, like what the directs or presents are going to be like. I assume that there is going to be probably 3 presents. There'll be one like where they just do like the spin-offs like Unite was, maybe. So they'll do like, let's say, ports, and then they'll do like a spin-off that we haven't heard of yet. Something like that. And then there'll be another one that just focuses on the DLC. And I don't know, in updates, we get things like that map that we got for Sword and Shield. Like, I don't even know where they data mined that from, but the game wasn't out yet, and they somehow data mined the map of the Crown Tundra. I think it was the Isle of Armor too. But anyway, we could see like all the flying points. Like stuff like that is going to happen in the coming year, especially in this long wait.
And I mean, they're going to update us more. I think.
When do you think this update will actually be? Right,
May.
I think they're gonna do multiple updates, but like actual presents, I don't know.
You know what? I mean, we know that. Yeah, we know that home compatibility is supposed to come early 2023. It actually, interestingly enough, last year they said spring 2023, but this year in the presents on Pokemon Day, they changed it. They said early 2023, which to me almost implies earlier than spring. But like, the interesting thing is, if it's next month, why not just go ahead and say March 27th?
I'm not as confident about that. I think early 2023 is meant to be more ambiguous even. So I don't even know.
So you think it may even be later than spring?
I think because I said this already on a previous episode, but like, I really think that they're going to milk the raid thing. Like, they have all those Pokemon that are in home, basically, you could bring.
Right.
But they're just going to use them for raids. Like,
they've done Greninja and Charizard. They can do Chestnut, Delphox, regular forms of... Because I do think it's a little weird to do Hisuian forms, and I think that's why they haven't done Hisuian raids. But like, they could even do, regular Samurott, regular Typhlosion, and regular Decidueye.
Yeah, so I think, like, maybe they'll end up waiting until, like, the end of April. I don't think May. I don't think May. Yeah, what do we have to do in between? Like, what's going on right now? I'd rather raids almost. Now,
I will say, see, as a competitive battler though, I want them in so I can go ahead and start. I want my Sharpness Hisuian Samurai, and I want my Rockhead Hisuian Arcanine. But
see, that also keeps the like meta spicy too. Like,
that is true.
Dropping them in.
That is very fair. Do y'all know if? Because Walking Wake and Iron Leaves, those are obviously our 2 new paradoxes that we just got yesterday. Not DLC, just straight in the game. And so interestingly enough, their stats are 590. So they're, on par with Roaring Moon and Iron Valiant. But are not Like, they're stat-wise, they are not legendary Pokemon. And I'm wondering, do you know if they're already allowed in VGC?
I don't know.
Or if they're considered special Pokemon, like Greninja and Charizard are considered that.
It would make sense that they would be in because all paradoxes are in.
Yeah.
So, I mean, they are literally just more paradoxes. They're not even classified as legendaries. We found out today, which makes total sense.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So I would say yes, but who knows with those rules? You would know better than me, to be honest.
Yeah, I mean, I haven't because last night I was spending my time getting these two. I haven't done any battles. I've already gotten Walking Wake all EV'd up, and I'm just raiding for bottle caps because I don't want to have to spend money, so I can IV it up and do all that.
So how do we feel about these new Paradox Pokemon? Because I think they give us a little bit more clarity about how we understand Paradox Pokemon. I was definitely shocked when I saw both of them. We were I think most people were expecting them to look a lot more closely to the how they're depicted in the video game, or like the drawings in the Scarlet and Violet books.
I'm wondering if I'm the only one who did this. At first, when they revealed them in the presents yesterday, did y'all think it was raids for regular Suicune and regular Virizion?
No.
Was that just me?
No.
As soon as I
saw it, I was like at very first, I was like,
well, they look like
Virizion raid. But then I saw the when they showed them roaring up, and you could see, oh, Suicune's a Velociraptor. And so I was like, oh my gosh, that was so surprising to me, because I was surprised that there was a Suicune raid.
It is
surprising.
That's
not in the game. But then I was like, oh no, that's the Paradox.
Yeah, it is surprising. I mean, I don't think in a million years, even though it was leaked, I never thought it would actually be on its hind legs. This thing looks so weird. I think it looks so weird.
I love it. I love it though.
Have you
seen it in game?
To me.
Have you seen it in game? Dude, it's massive. It's as big as Koraidon, standing up.
Yeah, I'm looking for. That's maybe what I'll do after this. I still haven't gotten a chance yet.
You definitely need to. It's so cool. I love it. It is going to. I mean, Water Dragon is arguably one of. No, it's not even arguable. It is one of the best types in the game.
It is great.
Defensively, offensively. And then you couple that with the fact that it has a signature move that does 50% more in the rain, or 50% more in the sun, and then more in the rain as well.
Yeah,
and I mean, dude, I love this thing.
That's crazy. So, what did you think about Iron Leaves? I saw an image of Iron Leaves with 3 different swords sticking out of its head, which is a lot different.
Yeah, I love it. I think it's cool. It's funny that we're talking Lumi's talking about the other one and I'm talking about this one. I like Walking Wake quite enough. It is very awkward and weird. It's almost like it shouldn't be a Suicune, but it isn't technically. This I love. It's a better Virizion. I don't understand.
I think it is better than Virizion. Yeah.
Yeah, I don't understand people that are like, it's just a robot, so it sucks. It's just a robot, so it's cool. It's cooler.
I don't think it's a robot, so it sucks. But my thing is it's a robot, so I appreciate Walking Wake more because they took a cat, dog, beast thing and turned it into a raptor, and then they took a deer and just said make it metal. And it looks cool. But I have more appreciation for the drastic change. Same with
feels like a different Pokemon.
Right. Volcarona and Donphan, people feel that way too. They feel like Slitherwing and Great Tusk was a drastic better change than Iron Treads and Iron Moth.
I mean, Iron Treads is super drastic, if you ask me too.
Iron Treads sucks though.
Yeah. See, that's exactly the point. What he just said, I think that, yes, you guys are totally right. When I look at this, I'm like, okay, it's just the same thing. It shouldn't even, it's considered a different Pokemon, and that blows my mind because it's not a different Pokemon. It's literally a form. It should be a form. But that doesn't mean that I don't think that looks cooler than the other one. I still like that better than a completely different design.
Do you guys think, remember the rumors of armor Pokemon? I'm just making this connection now. Maybe the idea of making these future Paradox all metal and all metallic maybe came from maybe came from that.
I don't know.
I
feel
always
like armor would
imagined
be
it came
different.
more from, like, I think it was based in something, because the year that happened was also the year that they released the redone, like, 3D animation of
Sure.
the very first movie.
Yeah.
And in that movie, not only is Armored Mewtwo a thing, but they actually changed Armored Mewtwo's design.
Yeah, they
So
did.
I always took that as like probably
That's a good point.
someone saw, if it is based on anything factual, probably someone saw, and it was probably like a Go person because it was incorporated into Pokemon Go.
Yeah.
They saw a armored Mewtwo and they're like, armored forms next gen. You know, like
That is actually
and
really
it may have been
interesting,
a
the connection there.
real assumption.
I think armored forms could be way different. Like it doesn't have to only be metal on you. It could be like totally different kinds of armor, you know, and that changed the Pokemon a lot. So this is kind of different. There was always mecha Pokemon that people would do like fan arts. I think maybe they could have got it from that, or just like a future past thing, you know.
I think armored forms too. I mean, honestly, if you want to be real, there is an armored form in this game, and it's Armarousian Surledge. I mean, you know, Charcadet literally evolves by getting a suit of armor.
Exactly.
That's true. Yeah.
Perfect.
So to go back, are we done on these two, or?
I mean, how do you guys feel about no low like lore with them at all? Because like they just dropped them.
I'm assuming that there will be something about them in DLC. It may be small, and in fact, I imagine it will be small and unrelated to the plot. But I think they will give us ever so slightly something more, and it may be not until the second DLC, since that's the one with Terapagos. Mm-hmm. But I imagine there's going to be something, because you don't just take, like, if these were, I don't know, Pikachu and Eevee paradoxes, that'd be one thing. Like, they just made that for a mascot. But it's a Suicune and a Virizion paradox. You don't drop that in with no explanation.
I honestly, I think the explanation is going to be tied to the third legend or whatever is actually creating these paradox or allowing the paradox to come into our universe. I'm now convinced there's no biological connection between this Pokemon and original Suicune or any paradox. I'm over that.
I'm starting to lean that way.
Yeah,
I was a big believer in ancestors, but I am starting to lean that way.
That's
now,
actually funny
because of Suicune.
I've been the opposite the whole time, and now I'm the opposite of what you're talking about. Like,
so now you're true ancestors.
How do you think a dinosaur turns into a wolf?
I am more convinced it has nothing to do with that. See, you're looking at just the design. If it's an ancestor, it doesn't have to like look exactly like it.
No, that is true. I mean, you have to think about real world evolution. Like
that's what I'm thinking.
At some point, we were fish.
Yeah, if you think about like that, then you know this. It doesn't convince me at all. But I've seen tons of people going off about that. Instead, I'm more like,
and I'm not upset about it.
No. I'm just saying, like, I think that they're just past and future Pokemon.
No.
I really do.
We may never get an explanation.
Do you want to know why? Because that's what they explained in the base game. Like, that was it. That was the explanation. The time machine was a time machine. Everything was exactly how they said it was. And now when you look at the DLC, they almost have no relation other than it's called the Hidden Treasure of Area Zero.
Like everything else, relation. It will have relation.
It will have relation, but in what way? Like, how are they going to go
in
back
a big way.
To paradoxes when they're not even focusing on paradoxes?
No,
because you know what I mean. It doesn't look like it.
But they may.
I'm not saying I'm convinced. Before you go on, I'm not saying I'm convinced. I'm just saying I'm leaning the other way almost now. It's like it's
so you were such a believer in this. This is like I don't know. This is like finding out that Santa is your parents. You know, like I'm sitting here like, you know what? But Soul,
I'm just thinking about Game Freak. I'm thinking about Game Freak and what they wanted to do. You know, like I'm thinking development and all of that. Just like how did they come up with these ideas? Maybe they wanted to tell separate stories with all of these. Like the DLC seems so far removed from Paldea, it's ridiculous. It has nothing.
I think it's
Paldea,
a red herring.
Basically,
I think it's a red herring. I think it's going to have everything to do with Paldea.
So all of the marketing,
based on what I've seen yesterday, you know, like just whatever they showed.
The most important thing is just to remember the fact that it is called the Hidden Treasures of Area Zero.
Yeah.
So even if we're not going to Area Zero, it is going to connect to Area Zero, and you have to think Terapagos is the I guess mascot, if you will, of the second pack or the second part, the Indigo Disc, and that is Terapagos is very heavily tied to Area Zero, and Terrastal as a whole, which is very tied to Area Zero. So it will all come full circle. Now, I do think that it will be. I do think that the first part will feel very self-contained. Like, it will feel like it almost has nothing to do with, Paldea. But the second part will take both parts, put them together, and just make some magic, Because if you see on the site, I don't know where exactly it is, but it actually says on the site that you can do the first part of DLC as soon as you begin the treasure hunt. So right after you get to Mesa Goza and all. But the second part, it says you have to have beaten Scarlet and Violet, and you have to have beaten the part 1. Which tells me that if you have to beat Scarlet and Violet, it's because you have to have that knowledge. You have to have the know of what happened down in Area Zero with the professors building the time machine, Paradox Pokemon, all that. It's all going to come to fruition.
Yeah, I want to keep talking about the Paradox Pokemon, but I think maybe we should I think it's time to just dive into each of these DLCs.
So before we get super into them, I will say, have either of y'all purchased them yet?
No, I have to.
No, I was thinking about it though. I was like, why?
I went ahead and did. I went ahead and did because
I'm gonna do
I was
it.
like, I want my Hisuian Zoroark.
Yeah, I want that too.
But the reason I ask is because it's actually. And I'm wondering if this is some inflation thing or what, or if it's an indication that there could be more.
Yeah, it's $5 more.
It's more than the Sword and Shield one.
Yeah.
So I wonder now only $5, but I wonder. That's what I'm hoping to.
Goes a long way when you sell over a million copies. Well,
and you have to think that's 1/6, so that's roughly 16.5% more.
Yeah.
Than the initial price of Sword and Shield DLC. That's a decent bit. I mean, I'll take 16% more than what the Sword and Shield DLC gave me.
I wouldn't count on that necessarily.
Yeah, I wouldn't either.
That math does not equate. It does not.
Right.
It makes sense, but I don't know.
Because it's still just 2 DLC packs.
I will admit, it's definitely some copium on my part. I really want it to be.
So do I.
And I mean, the fact is too, let's just be real. There was talk of, and I can't remember if they found out that it definitely is happening or not. But Switch games in general going up in price. I think there was talk of Tears of the Kingdom going to $70.
Yeah,
and then not only that, but then also just to get as dark and as real world as I want to on this podcast. Everything's going up right now.
yeah, it is. So
eggs are $10.
That could indicate something. I'm not biting my tongue, holding my tongue. I'm not biting. Yeah, I'm not biting my time.
You're not doing whatever
biting your time
from the phrase.
That's where we're at.
But what I'm very excited about are these 2. We are getting 2 new DLC packs, and the first one is called the Teal Mask. Right, step out of the Paldea region as you take a school trip to the land of Kitakami. There, you'll meet new people and Pokemon while unraveling the mystery behind the area's folktales. This sounds so exciting. And I saw a graph by someone basically saying, because this is so heavily inspired by Japanese folklore and it looks like it's a Japanese region, that it could be a section of Japan that is near the other 4 Japanese regions that we're familiar with. Which is really cool. That's not confirmed, but I think that's a really exciting, just thought process.
Yeah, I mean, I think people have speculated it's the Tohoku region, which is supposed to be just south of Hokkaido, which interestingly enough is Sinnoh. It is Tohoku corresponds to, what would be Sinjo.
We're getting our Legends Paldea.
Interesting, but I mean, I don't think they'll make it Sinjo. I don't.
No.
I think it might be the neighbor of Paldea, and that maybe even the Ruinous Quartet. I don't know if y'all saw Birdkeeper Toby's short on us, but he even talked about how the Ruinous Quartet, when they said a region in the east, it may have been here. Sometimes they do mix regions. I mean, I know, we like to think, well, the Ruinous Quartet is Chinese in origin, so they must be from a China region or all this. But, I mean, the fact is, we first met a panda in France. We first met a koala in Hawaii. You know, I mean, it's not always accurate.
100%. They mix things and match things all the time. It's
Right.
like a big mix, and like
And
Pokemon
sometimes
world,
you'll get lucky and they'll say Copperages from India, but sometimes they will just, the pandas live in France.
Yeah, exactly. The Pokemon world is not accurate to our world. Like, not at all. If it was, we'd be having Kalos DLC.
Yeah,
It's
let's not
for
talk
real.
about
Like,
that.
yeah, no Kalos, guys. It's not happening.
There's going to be someone in the comments who's going to go, actually, I think it could still be Kalos. Here's why.
It
just
was
loops.
never happening. It was never happening. Oh my
Actually,
God.
so it probably is still happening because shout out to Pearl enthusiasts because they still believe Kalos DLC is coming.
Yeah,
Oh, yeah,
right.
they
Yeah,
really
yeah. Well, I think so. If we take a look at like, okay, so we have these two different locations. The Teal Mask is going to take place in this Japanese, at least inspired region or area, and then the second area is a sort of island, or the second DLC is going to take place in some sort of island. I guess it's called Blueberry Academy. You get the blue. It's in the middle of the ocean. I think this is the Atlantis connection that we've been picking up on, right? Which is really cool and has nothing to do with Kalos. We have those two things, right? I guess another wild theory is maybe there's another, right? We've said Gen 9 could last 4 years. Maybe next year there's another DLC thing, right? I mean, why? Like, what would rule that out? If these are coming so late into next year,
I want
why
that.
not?
I think that's what Sword and Shield, its like biggest L to me was that I think it got stale too quick because they released Legends Arceus. From the day Legends Arceus was announced, Sword and Shield
Sword and
became
Shield was
bland.
dead. Yeah.
And if you had done Legends Arceus announcement and you had dropped, in I don't know, like December, so in between Brilliant Diamond, Shining Pearl, and Legends Arceus, you had dropped a DLC for Sword and Shield, and I mean, honestly, it could have been like the smallest thing, and then maybe even you literally just add Infernape, Torterra, and Empoleon into the game. Like, that would have been enough to me to, like, rejuvenate Sword and Shield, but instead, they killed it too young, and I'm terrified of them doing that to Paldea. And I really hope they don't.
What do you think, Sol?
I think I would not bet on another DLC. It depends what they have planned for next year, basically. But if I was to guess, I would say that they're going to do a different game next year, like a brand new game. And I don't think they're going to go for... It would be amazing. I totally agree. But imagine like a DLC in like March. That'd be crazy. Like, and that's it. And then a new game in like November, because I think they're going to do a new game. I think we're talking about Unova or
It'd be
Johto.
2 years later at that point. Yeah.
So I hope, but
yeah, I guess my biggest question is like, why would they purposefully blur out that section, that northeast section of the Paldean map?
Is that's Kitakami?
Oh, you think that's what that is?
I think that's Kitakami.
Oh, interesting. Okay.
Lumi just destroyed one of my theories, basically, because I was gonna. One of my tweets, let's say, because I was gonna post exactly that.
Can do that.
So I'll just do it right now. Basically, I totally agree with you. That is where. Yeah, that's where Kitakami is. It is that spot where we thought that Kalos was gonna be. That's what it is. Think about this. Where is it close to? Like right near that like Japanese garden area of Paldea. Like right on the other side of that. I think it's just another region or like another place that is either actually Japanese inspired or like they just celebrate Japanese holidays there, because you have to think also, this is another point towards it being there. The two new rival characters, I don't know if you want to pull them up or not. I love their designs. They're both
Armine and something.
Yeah, they have like European-ish names. They're not like, weird, different names that you would never expect. I think that they are from there, and that's right.
Another interesting thing too is those characters are they attend the Blueberry Academy. It says an interesting thing about that is Blueberry Academy is Blueberry Academy. It's not Spanish.
Yeah.
We don't go to the Orange or Grape Academy. We go to the Naranja or Uva Academy.
Yeah. Love it. Yeah.
So the whole location.
Imagine if it had been French.
See,
Yeah.
that's a missed opportunity.
Can we talk about real quick? Can we talk about how? Okay, if we are to take this as it is and say Kitakami is northeast of Paldea, it is their neighbor. Can we talk about how cruel that Dragon Tamer tease was in
It
that
is.
area?
It really
That
is.
was messed up.
That was the single reason that I ever thought it. Like I would have given Kalos the time of day, but that was like, this could maybe be it. Maybe
Right.
Yeah.
That I think that's where it is. Kitakami, I think we should have had Pokusutami on for this episode. She has like so much of this stuff, but one of the things she said, I think, is that it means like north and upper, like the actual word.
Kitakami.
Yeah, I haven't made this tweet yet. I just have it in my brain, basically.
It's called in Spanish, I believe it's called Norotia or Noroti. I don't know how you pronounce it. With Noro coming from north and Tia coming from Dorotia, which is basically like a very traditional name. Like it's supposed to be like traditional, which makes sense given the
I think it's actually
attire here.
I think it's on the website here. If you look, is this like the expanded one where they talk about it? Because the website was so confusing. Yeah, it is here. I think it might say something about being northeast on this. I don't know.
I think it's only the. Did you see that on PokeLeaks?
I don't know where I saw it. All I know is I saw that it said it's northeast.
It's on
It
PokeLeaks.
will take you to the land of Kitakami. A great mountain towers over the land of Kitakami, and the people live at its base. It is a place of tranquil natural expanses, featuring rice paddies and apple orchards. A new and different experience compared to the Paldea region.
On PokeLeaks, they posted that make sure I get this right. The Spanish website for the Scarlet and Violet DLC, it says that the new region / place, again called Norotio, in Spanish, is just the northeast part of Paldea. It says exactly Norotio al noreste de Paldea, which is just to the northeast of Paldea.
Yeah.
So it's the Spanish site, but still.
It's weird that it's Japanese. Like, I don't get why they did this, other than they're Japanese and they can.
I mean,
I think it's
maybe
it's a
they
nice
had an
little
interest
shakeup.
in doing that, but they felt like they couldn't make a whole region off of, this, area, Tohoku. And so they were just like, well, let's just throw it in a game. And I love it personally. I
do
It's
too.
always keeping you on your toes. We were sitting here and going, okay, well, the DLC's got to be either Kalos, South France, the Balearic Islands, the Azores, and
Which are all great ideas.
Right, yeah. But they went, oh, really? It's got to be Andorra or the Balearic Islands? Okay. Well, you're going to Japan for DLC. I mean, I love that. So now what's going to happen is next Gen 10, it's like Australia or something, and DLC is going to happen, and we're going to have people speculating, I think that we'll be going to California for DLC. Here's why,
Yeah. And then they do.
Yeah,
like,
but you say people, it's gonna be us.
Yeah. I mean, people like all of us. Yes. Us, others, yes.
We are part of this community.
Yeah.
Right, absolutely.
Yeah. It's weird. But I've seen a lot of people that are kind of disappointed. Probably like natives to Spain and Portugal. I mean, especially for the Portuguese. But they're like kind of disappointed. They're like, they just are done with our region, basically. It is kind of just like bye, see ya, we're not doing this anymore. I
can understand how
it
that
does-
is upsetting.
I
mean,
think,
especially when Galar got, the DLC was Isle of Man, another part of the UK, and then Scotland, another part of the UK, and then, Spain and Portugal, they have the Balearic Islands, they have, I forget the name of those, Macronesia or whatever, the islands. Near there,
I feel like
Canary Islands, and Japan.
Yeah, I feel like a big part of that feeling might be the fact that like we just got the game, and now they're basically giving us Pokemon and imagery from a game that we're not supposed to experience until nearly 2024. So it almost feels like within 3 months we're now seeing the end game of the region, right, or of this new experience of Generation 9.
It does
right? It's
feel
like we're
more
getting it too
animated
soon,
like this.
even though
Right.
we're not playing with them.
Yeah, it's how it feels more than anything because it's almost just like, wow, we only got 3 months of
Months,
Paldea
yeah.
and that's it, and now it's done. But
That's not
technically,
true.
we have to wait all the way until fall
Yeah.
2023, so
And
we
this will
still have it
last
for a while.
us, right? There's gonna be media about this. It's gonna last another year after that. We still have 2 years at least of this
Yeah.
game, in total.
Let's
That's
hope
their
it comes
plan.
back.
Let's hope it works.
Yeah.
And we
Because
really don't know
I'm gonna
too
be real
much.
with you, Paldea is not lasting me to fall 2023.
Definitely not.
No. It really does make me. I don't know. It makes
Like
me
no battle facilities, zero post game.
We could talk about that too. Like, I think fall 2023 is going to be. It could even be August. It could even be late to mid August
Okay.
in my mind.
That is true. They refer to November a lot of the times as winter or holiday.
Yeah.
Mhm.
But like truthfully it's not holiday in other countries. It's holiday here because Thanksgiving. But
I don't
I
think
will-
that they. I don't think that they're going to be too close together, these two packs. So like, because if it was, they would have just done it as one. So I think that from August to like October, we could be getting the first one, and then like November, December is the second one.
Yeah, I will say when I was looking at the website, I don't know, I don't have it right here, but they do very specifically say, this first one's going to come out in the fall, and then right below that it says like this can change at any moment. Like
Yeah.
they've very
Well, they
clearly
always
given
put
themselves
that.
an out.
I mean it's the same reason Nintendo Directs oddly enough Presents didn't begin this way. But Nintendo Directs always begin with like a notice, dates are subject to change due to COVID-19,
Yeah, but
will-
I mean, like I feel like with Pokemon games, I can't remember the last time they moved an
Gym
announced
4.
date. Yeah,
Gym
exactly.
4.
But that's like what feels like 20 years ago.
Yeah, it was
Like
17
I feel like.
years ago.
So you think that's just like a standard thing? Because the fact that these are coming out so late in the year, I really feel like, these just aren't ready.
In fairness, it happened with Sleep.
I can tell you for sure that they're still working on it. Like, so like a lot of the rumors that I heard before this happened yesterday did end up coming true, and one of them was that they delayed this. This was delayed.
Yeah.
Like,
I remember you posting a tweet about it.
yeah, this was
You were
definitely
like, it could
delayed.
be August. And I'm like, don't you
Yes.
dare say that, Soul.
I was afraid that they were going to delay it all the way till next year, like the second one. And I think
Yeah.
so. I'm so happy that they said 2023,
Mhm.
because that at least locks in that. But they purposely did like fall and winter so that they don't have a set date. They're speculating probably just as much as us. They have like a date somewhere.
I found myself at one point this morning just sitting there thinking about the wait. And like my brain goes, how cool would it be if they announced, oh, it's gonna be July? And I was like, that's not gonna happen, dude.
But it could not July, but it could be earlier than what you think because it's not set, and I think they want to get these out as soon as they can. It just depends on how much.
I mean,
time
you kind of have to with all the teases to it that there is, and
Yeah.
especially to Terapagos, who isn't even until the second part,
Yeah,
and you're going to wait until you're gonna make me wait until I saw the tease for him in November of 2022, and you're gonna make me wait until December of 2023 to get that to come to fruition. That's
Yep.
not only like just that, but like you said earlier, Scarlet and Violet is not gonna last that long. People are gonna forget about this game and not want to even buy the DLC. They're just gonna be like, oh, it's just DLC.
Yeah, a lot of my
really-
friends a lot of my like non-Pokemon friends who have bought the game, they haven't texted me. I don't think they're gonna have any interest in this. I mean, maybe they could buy it, but I mean, at this point, I think they're done with the game.
It's weird. Like, DLC is weird. It's like it needs to be soon after. It can't be like a long time after unless it's like really big content.
Yeah.
And this
Feels
kind
like
of
big
is really
content.
big content. It
Yeah.
feels they make it feel like it, but then
New
when you actually,
legendaries,
yeah,
new Pokemon,
when you look at
new region.
right, but when you look at the Sword and Shield one, you're like, if it's that much,
Yeah.
is that enough? It's not like a new game.
So
you know,
how are we feeling about these legendaries?
Terapagos is beautiful, and I love him.
I like Turtle.
Yeah, the
Oh,
turtles.
yeah, I like turtles.
I like turtles.
The turtle is really pretty. It's not at all what we expected.
I love Ogerpon too. I haven't seen him get as much attention, but I think he's, really cool, very mystical, giving me Majora's Mask vibes, so I like him.
I do like Ogerpon. I just want to see what's behind the mask because I feel like it's really ugly.
No, you see it in the trailer. You see it in the trailer.
All right,
2 points in the trailer.
You're gonna have to
2
show
points
me.
in the trailer.
It's right
No,
up
because
here.
it's
1 second.
it's based on an Oni, right? Or an
Pull up the
ogre.
trailer and I'll pause it. No, that ain't it. Pull
That's
up the
not good
trailer.
enough for me. I
Pull
need
up
to
the
see,
trailer.
like,
I'll tell
the whole
you
thing.
when to pause.
It's based on an ogre, right?
Oh, right
so
here.
the personal stuff gonna pop up.
Based on ogre, yeah.
Yeah, it's based
Just
on an
social.
ogre, so they're kind of ugly. He's wearing a
No,
mask for a
don't go
reason.
that far. Yeah, no, you were good with the statues.
You want to see the statues?
Yeah, like right after that.
We're doing some deep diving. Hey, Chimeco, right?
Yeah, Chimeco and Chingling's confirmed a return, so keep going. Like, just click play from there.
Oh.
You're not gonna get DMCA'd for this, right?
Hopefully not, but keep your finger on the button.
Yeah. He's got muted. We should be good. Pause.
Oh, you just
Okay,
want to
if
see the
you
masks?
look,
Oh, I
he
know, I
has
saw
horns,
Yeah,
and then
yeah,
he
yeah.
has fangs. But then also play again.
I
And
don't
like
think
all
this,
of them
that.
look different.
I
All of them
don't
look
think this
different,
is
the masks.
exactly what they're going to look like.
No, maybe not
This is a
exactly.
big- this
These
is a
are
big
like-
point,
I
though.
will say Pikachu and Eevee look identical to Pikachu and Eevee. None of the other ones look identical to what we've seen.
Yep.
Yeah, that
that's
is a good
very
point.
true.
Now pause when it shows the sign flashing
Yeah.
in the woods, like when it shows it on it, because like it's like a werewolf or
Yeah,
something.
right.
Running.
It's right here, right?
Right.
That's
so
it on
I've
maps.
This
seen
is
both
ogre.
of these things,
It
obviously.
does have horns.
Yeah, it has horns in the
On the
artwork,
mask.
too.
It does,
Well,
yeah.
it's different horns. Like the horns on
Right.
the mask are like more sharp and pointed, while like the ones on the and they're I guess tanner. They're more like a traditional horn color. Whereas when he has the mask on, they're like black.
Yeah, I don't know what I'm expecting with this thing, man, because it is an Oni and an ogre, and I do not like what those look like. So
Well, that's
This-
the thing, Soul. Ogres have layers.
Yeah, Lumi, do you want to explain your
No.
theory? I think you have a really good theory about the mask. And with ogre, with what is it, Ogerpon?
Well, I'll let Soul finish up first.
Okay.
I was just giving my opinion on it. Basically, it doesn't look like it has arms. In that other one, it does. In the other image that we were just looking at,
Yeah,
I'm just like,
its arms are up running.
Yeah.
its arms must be holding the mask. No, and see, it has horns, but that eye doesn't look like an ogre eye. And Pokemon changes how things look, So I'm
Yes.
just hoping that I want it to be cute, honestly, or like.
Yeah,
know,
it
could
looks
be
cute
cool
right
even.
here.
It can be cute and fierce, like
Yeah.
Marshadow is a great
Yeah.
example in my opinion. That is
I'm
a
just-
fierce design, but
Yeah.
so cute too. Little
totally agree.
marshmallow boy.
Well, so
I'm
Lumi, do
just
you
like,
want to
what's
explain?
behind the mask?
Yeah, I think Lumi's theory could potentially explain it.
So I compared it to like Type Null and Sylvali. Where Type Null it has the helmet, and then even in the anime, Type Null like doesn't even really evolve. His helmet breaks, and he's a Sylvali.
Yeah.
And that's the idea is it's
Same
constricting its power. So like, if you because I think like I don't know if we've mentioned this on this episode or not yet. We've talked about it. We're all tired, but these are clearly based off the legend of Momotaro, which is
We have
you know,
not
this-
talked about it yet.
we have it. Okay,
No,
Dusty,
go
are
for
you
it.
familiar with Momotaro? I'm sure Soul is because I'm sure he's read up on it.
I'm not.
Okay, so
I've read
Momotaro is like a Japanese folktale. Think like the American version of Johnny Appleseed, except instead of planting apples, this man fought demons, which is objectively cooler.
He literally was a Pokemon trainer. He's
right.
literally a Pokemon trainer.
He traveled to a very condensed version is he traveled to an island of demons and he met a talking pheasant, monkey, and dog. As you can see there's Pokemon versions of them.
Okie dokie.
And
Okie
I hate that name. Just
I love it.
It gets
It's
Okie
so
dokie.
good. All of these names are good. Monkey Dory. That's so good.
Well, yeah, what it is the demons have plundered this treasure, and he ends up capturing the demon chief and taking the treasure back. And so and the treasure, obviously, that should stand out because that is very clearly
On the mask.
Pokemon and Scarlet and
mask.
Violet, right? I assume that what is happening is that the Momotaro here is a hero trainer that you're going to hear about who
Oh, you don't think it's
Ogerpon
us?
stole something. What?
You don't think it's us? I was thinking we were.
No. I think we're
That's what
going
I
to
thought.
repeat the story of the hero, but
Sure.
I think that plaque in the woods.
True.
I think that's showing the original what
Yes,
happened.
because
And like this is like Ogerpon Strikes Back.
Yeah, you're so right because they are already recognized as heroes. The three
Right.
Pokemon, they're
Yeah.
like the hero Pokemon.
And like they've got masks of all of them. This is clearly a celebration of that event. And what's going to happen is history is going to repeat itself. I'm imagining, because this is the interesting thing, even if this region is next to Paldea, from what we have been told, Terrastol is supposed to be a gimmick that is exclusive to Paldea. So I think the treasure that Ogerpon, I have, in fact, it's up now, but right on the day we're recording this, I don't know when this will drop, but on the day we're recording this, I posted a video explaining all of this. But
Good.
I think that Ogerpon, the treasure it stole, was something that allowed Kitakami to have access to the Terrastol phenomenon. And this guy, this Momotaro, as we'll call him, the original hero, he, with the birds, was able to get this treasure back, and he essentially imprisoned Ogerpon in the mask, which is why he doesn't look like the freaky little werewolf beast there. And then what's going to happen is somehow Ogerpon's been freed from the mask, and in the middle of the festival, he's going to disturb the festival by coming back and maybe even stealing whatever it is that's allowing the Terrastol phenomenon, running off with it, and it's basically history repeats itself. Now you have to be Momotaro. So they're like, oh, we need the hero Pokemon again. Go find the hero Pokemon. You have to travel around to find the hero Pokemon and use them to beat Ogerpon.
So how is this going to tie into these three, right? Because I think a lot of people
they're the hero Pokemon.
Yes,
yeah,
but if we were just looking, let me pull it up right here. We were just looking at the masks. Let me pull it up right here.
There's a lot to them, it seems.
Like these masks do not look like the Pokemon that we have seen, right?
So would
that suggest that they would have different, right?
I think so.
If you're saying this mask of Ogerpon is what it actually looks like, then wouldn't that suggest that these other masks should also look like Pokemon that we have not seen yet?
Yes, I think they are I think they will be, to borrow, I've been borrowing this term so much lately because I love it so much, but to borrow our friend Professor Howry's turn, I think that these are Terramax forms.
Yes, dude, yes.
And that my wife actually told me this theory like literally 30 minutes before we started recording, and I was like, I'm probably going to mention that to them, but I will credit to Sarah.
Credit your wife.
She said,
make sure to credit.
She thinks, right, that she thinks that the special terraforms will, instead of just being a hat, they might be a mask too.
Yeah, I like that way better. That's what I always wish the Terra style form Pokemon were.
It kind of makes sense because of Sada and Turo, like their whole eyes get like filled with the Terrastol kind of thing. This is like kind of a good. I saw someone do artwork. I forget his name. But on Twitter.
Did you retweet it?
No, I didn't yet. I just have it saved somewhere in there. But he like made like a version of them like all Terrastoled out, and his eyes are just like full of the diamonds or whatever. Cool. Anyway, it could be that, or it could be like they get the mask. My idea was like they actually get
cool
Ogerpon's mask, and they can like put it on, or they have their own mask somewhere that you have to find, and like they put them on and become like super Power Rangers.
No, that makes sense. If Ogerpon's mask, right, is part of the design that we've seen, but that mask becomes an actual physical held item where each of these Pokemon are affected by it. A lot of the legendary trios have a specific item that will
like the reflecting glass.
That's exactly what I was thinking of. Yeah, exactly.
Do you think these are legendaries? I don't think they are. But I get what you're saying.
I mean, yeah. Why would they not be legendary Pokemon?
I think they're sub legends though. You know, like Urshifu.
I don't think so. I think they're just normal Pokemon.
They're
supposed to be
normal
Pokemon, apparently.
If Moltres, Zapdos, and Articuno are legendaries, these can be legendaries.
No.
But I will say they might be a different thing altogether, because like the interesting thing is Pokemon has really redefined legendary lately.
Everything.
So
legendaries used to include mythicals, and it used to, whether you like it or not, it used to include Ultra Beasts.
It did.
They have now separated that category. They have retconned that. There are legendary Pokemon, Suicune, Lugia, those kinds of things. There are paradox Pokemon, Walking Wake, Iron Treads. There are mythical Pokemon, Manaphy, Mew, and then there's Ultra Beasts, Poipole, Nagano. So they might keep doing just different, not legendaries, but because they're not legendaries, but special Pokemon.
I think these are legendary Pokemon.
That's interesting.
It's an arbitrary term. I don't know why they wouldn't make them legendary, right? Legendary Cell. It's a special thing.
I don't know. They didn't say that they are. They were like, look at these two. They specifically pointed out the other two as legendaries, and these ones not.
Yeah, that's true. That's a good point.
This is a big
the legendary Pokemon. That's a good point.
Yep, it's a big side note, but are we ever gonna get mythicals again? I don't think so. This is like the end of mythicals.
The whole point of mythicals, well, and not only that, but the whole point of mythicals too, they did two things. They allowed you to get access to a brand new Pokemon in the middle of a generation. That's irrelevant now. And they also promoted an anime movie. Mm-hmm. That's irrelevant now.
Yeah.
Yep.
I think
at least for now. Maybe one day they'll do another anime movie, and then we can talk. But
I think they've been doing a great job. I'm way happier with this and what we got with Sword and Shield, those DLCs.
Absolutely.
Right? People have been complaining that legendaries and mythicals were just free handouts. This is great.
Way better.
I don't even like Calyrex, but I actually have an emotional connection with it because I played through a story with it.
Yep.
Yeah. Well, and
they actually listened, I think, and people have overlooked it. Like Calyrex probably was planned to be a mythical. Like it looks like one.
That's something that I was about to say too. Like honestly, too, it does look like they are like this is what our new mythicals are, in the sense that they are the way they decide to design mythical Pokemon. They're trying to design this Pokemon this way because Ogerpon to me looks like a mythical. Like, if they had said this is a new mythical Pokemon we're giving out as a mystery gift this year, I would have believed it.
To me, they both look like mythicals.
Yeah. So
I think you're right. Terapagos might would. Not anymore. They used to be, but now they have, because used to be mythicals was a coding that was under the subgroup of, it was a subgroup under legendaries, but now they have separated that. As of Scarlet and Violet, they've separated that in code, and mythicals is its own code. So they might redefine mythicals, and these might be mythical Pokemon. And they're redefining it.
In Japan, they were always separate. In America, when it first came out, like mythicals first came out, like Mew and stuff, it was the legendary. People were like, this is just another legendary. But in Japan, they were always separate. So it's
but in fairness, in coding, it was always under legendary.
Yeah. It's how they portrayed them or whatever.
Let me ask you guys this. How big do you think Terapagos is?
Did you see Moot's post on Twitter?
No. Yeah, I don't think that's real.
He took the island of Paldea and he outlined it in the shape of Terapagos, and that was interesting. I don't think it's that big though. I imagine it could probably change size drastically. Yeah,
this is a good time to go into what the second DLC story is based on.
I think that Terapagos is going to be like Arceus, where like that is like an avatar of it.
I like that.
So basically, the second DLC is also after or based on a Japanese folklore tale.
Urashima?
You know the name. I don't know.
I know the name. I do not know the tale.
The tale is... So what I did with both of these is I found a website, and it has the actual stories, and I read them, the whole thing through.
Nice.
Pretty long.
You gotta send me that.
Yeah, they're really cool. I
need that for video, Soul.
I tweeted both of them.
Okay, good.
Yeah, so... if you scroll down a little bit, it's down there. That one. So this is the story is right here. I don't know if you can read like the little blurb that I put.
Yes, the indigo discs almost certainly based on the Japanese fairy tale Urashima Taro. Correct? Yep. The turtle of this is depicted like Terapagos, and it takes the protagonist to the palace of the dragon sea god, which is deep under the sea. There are so many connections to Scarlet and Violet, especially the theme of time and dreams, the moral, the characters, the plot, and important plot items could all be part of Pokemon Scarlet and Violet DLC plot. It's weird that I'm reading this by Soul Silver art while
feel weird,
you're on the chat.
I was saying if you click the first picture that's from what is it, Wikipedia. So you can read that, and it just tells you like the really quick version of it.
Yeah. So,
Yeah,
do you want me to read it? Is that what you're saying?
you can if you want. I can tell you really quick as well. It's pretty
Yeah.
easy.
How about you do that? That sounds
Yeah.
good.
So basically, what happens is this guy is a fisherman, and he sees some punk kids beating up on this little turtle. It's a little turtle, okay? And
This is a little turtle.
yeah, they're bullies, whatever. So he pays them to go away, and he saves the turtle's life because it was going to die. Turtle's all happy and whatever. So he sets it free back into the water. By the way, this whole time it's like a tortoise in the text. It's like tortoise, and they put it in the sea. Don't ever do that to a tortoise because the tortoise will die.
Note to self: if you never PSA, if you find a tortoise, don't throw it in the water.
Don't
It
put
is
it in
not
the
going to
water.
carry you to the Dragon Palace.
No, it's probably a translation error. But anyway, so the next day he goes out fishing in the same area because he's a fisherman, and the turtle comes up to him, same one, and it starts talking to him because that's what happens in these stories, And it's got superpowers basically. He talks to him. He's like, "Thank you for saving my life. All this stuff. I want to take you to this palace of the Dragon King, which is Ryujin, which is like a huge Japanese deal. Like it's what Thunderous is based off of.
Yeah, I was about to say I recognize the name. I was like, ain't there a
Yes.
Pokemon based off that?
Right. So he lives under the
Wow.
sea. He's a Dragon King. Whatever. I'll get into that later. Anyway, the rest of the story goes that he gets on the turtle, and the turtle, he's like, "How can I get on top of you?" Because the turtle's tiny. Turtle grows to massive size. So that's probably how that ends up. What size is the turtle? I don't know.
What I'm hearing is this whole time we thought Megas were coming back and Dynamaxes instead.
Yeah, exactly. It did kind of feel like that. I'm not going to get into too much detail, but basically he goes down there. He meets the Dragon King's daughter, that's a princess, and he marries her, which is crazy. He's down there for 3 days. It's the best time of his life, and he's like, "Dude, I got old parents, and they're they need to be taken care of, and I miss them so much. I got to go just take care of them, and I'll be back in a day." And the princess is like, "Okay, you can go, I guess. I don't know why you want to leave me." And she gives him this box, and the box is to protect him, and she says, "Never open the box." This is the moral of the story to little kids at the end.
This is the hidden treasure.
Yeah, it is it's a treasure. It's covered in, it's a jewel box, okay? She gives him the box, and she's like, "Don't open it." The moral of the story is listen to people, your elders.
Listen to people.
Yeah, it really is, though.
The moral of the story is if somebody hands you a box and says don't open it, don't freaking open the box.
Yeah, that's really what it is. So he goes up to the back, the turtle takes him back to the shore, and he goes and he's like, everything looks the same, but everything's different. It turns out that 3 days down under in the water was 300 years up on the land, but he was still young.
This is sick. So, this is the time travel.
Right, it is. It has to do with time. A lot to do with time. And so he goes looking for his parents, and they're long gone, and he's distraught, and he's like, "I don't even know what to do. Maybe if I open this box, I'll get some treasure or something, and I'll be able to survive." So it's all about the treasure. I can do something with this box to make myself successful again or something. He opens the box, it turns him into an old man. It was all of his years, basically. All of his years hit him in the face, and he becomes an old man, and then he dies. And then the woman is calling out to him and being like, "I told you not to open the box." And then it says, "This is why, children, you have to listen to your elders and don't disobey." And that's what the moral of the story is.
I love fairy tales, man.
Yeah, it's actually
so
really cool.
You read that to your kid. You read that to your kid, and after you look at him, you just hand him a shiny box, and you go, "Now don't open that, okay?" And just walk away.
Yeah, so that link right there is the story. It is also in the next one as well. I'll just send it to you later, Lumi. But so that's the story. That the place is underwater. That's the big thing. It is literally the same thing that we're doing.
See, but if the school is underwater, I wonder how that equates to the Dragon Palace.
Right. And I don't know, but what I'm thinking is that Terapagos. It's
Terapagos.
Terapagos.
It's Galapagos with Terra. That's all I know. Anyway,
Terapagos is how they pronounce it in the trailer.
Yeah, I think it's gonna become a dragon naturally.
Yeah, that is what most third legends do.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Or we could have like a princess Pokemon. The princess is a big thing in this story.
I think there's probably still room for.
There could be like
Maybe
maybe
not
the
more
princess would somehow equate to a character. Like they'll fill these roles with a character. Because like I think about how we got a decent bit into Penny's backstory and Arvin's backstory. We didn't get much into Nimona. And then Data Mine suggests that in DLC we could potentially meet her parents. And
Wait,
they would be the king and queen. Maybe they own this Blueberry Academy.
You're saying Penny?
And Nimona. So Nimona will be the princess. Another thing to point out is they do say the Blueberry Academy is very focused on battling.
Yeah.
Yep.
She's the battler.
That's her whole
I would
thing.
not say that any of these tales are one-to-one what's going to happen. You know, like Game Freak just pulls inspiration from these things. It's not going to be the same plot.
Yeah, I think that they might sub in all the important characters with a character. Like they will have a version of that. Like if you're supposed to be Momotaro and the hero trainer that they're celebrating is supposed to be Momotaro, the original, I imagine that like if you're Momotaro in the first one, I imagine you're the fisherman in this one, like so to speak. Yeah. And you know, maybe it what would be cool? Like this is I'm kind of derailing a little bit, but if Terapagos is like it has a baby evolution and
like Manaphy?
And like right when you get to Blueberry Academy, you like see kids like beating up a little turtle Pokemon, and you go and fight them and leave, and then later comes back Terapagos.
I think actually, I mean, probably what it is that Terapagos is the baby Pokemon, right?
Maybe,
and then like you said, Soul, it's gonna evolve into or have a form change, into a dragon of some sort.
I think there's definitely more to that turtle. Like it's gonna become something else.
There's definitely more to the turtle. This might be like the most important legendary Pokemon we've had since Arceus.
In both of these stories, the thing that we're leaving out that is huge is the connection to Area Zero. Like there has to be something with Terrastal and all of that. And if you look at the turtle, it doesn't really have a form. No. It's literally those gems. Light. Yeah, and then like the hair looking thing is actually like not energy. Hair. It's like exactly. It's all energy based. So
it's like its core is what you can see up top, but there's like a core in there, a crystal, and then seeping out of it is just like energy. And the way I would look at it like that is
in a shell.
It could be that as well, but I look at it as like it's basically this is the thing that can project anything. It can project, it can create whatever it wants, whether it's typing, whether it's Pokemon, whether it's reality, and that like thing that's seeping out of it is the mist we see at Area Zero.
It has to tie back to Area Zero and all of the things. Like I'm not forgetting all the theories that I made on this thing, not because out of pride or anything, but it has to connect to like all of that.
Yeah,
it made Terrastal at least. So there's something going on with it more with Sada and Turo and all of that. So it's got.
I mean, both seem very Terrastal focused just because we know the turtle created Terrastal. And then Ogerpon has like very Terra Shard reminiscent things on it.
Yeah.
Well, we know a lot about Terrastal, like that it is basically an energy source that can do like anything. It's like basically infinity.
Yeah, I mean, it allowed the professors to travel through time.
Mm-hmm. Yep. So they also...
Are they even going to show up? That's my question.
Yeah, I know. I don't know about them, but... There's going to be some connections.
You're wondering if the professors show up?
Yeah.
Yeah, I
really
not.
I think they're really gonna not. I think they've given us a lot right here in one trailer, but I think they're not telling us everything. I mean, obviously there's more to learn.
No, they're definitely not.
But Scarlet and Violet held so much back. They didn't even tell us anything about Area Zero until we actually got.
You have to
play the game.
I mean, so wouldn't you say that this is probably going to be at least Sword and Shield size in terms of like amount of Mons come back? Because for the record, the amount of returning Mons is more than Sword and Shield. They said about 200 in Sword and Shield, and they said over 230. And
well, that is great. I meant Scarlet and Violet. Like Scarlet and Violet, they didn't show us anything. Like I feel with the marketing of everything, like there was like 20 Pokemon, right? And the story was so limited. Everything they told us was like the same thing for 9 months.
But that was how they did Sword and Shield 2, and the DLC they revealed almost everything. The only Mons that weren't revealed were the Steeds. by the end of it. And because the fact of the matter is, like, you don't have to show everything about a Pokemon game because a Pokemon game is going to sell. I mean, dude, the fact of the matter is they could say, hey, Pokemon, black and white remakes are coming out in November and literally not say anything else on it. And it's still going to sell amazing because it's a Pokemon game. But with DLC, they've got the game. They now have to
maximize their profits though.
Right, of course. But like, they have to convince you to make another purchase on the game. So you've seen that game and its flaws, its pros, all of it.
Yeah.
I have to convince you to make another purchase to get more of that game. And that's why they reveal so much more. Because Sword and Shield, they didn't reveal much. I think they revealed... It wasn't much more than Paldea, what they revealed for Sword and Shield. But because people complained about that one. It was a little more. But it still wasn't much. Because that was a big complaint then too. But the DLC, they revealed everything.
Oh, I thought you were talking DLC. My bad.
No, you're
I totally meant, right.
I meant the base game. They revealed not much, and then DLC they revealed everything. Scarlet and Violet they revealed not much, but DLC I do think they'll reveal almost everything.
They did reveal quite a bit. I don't know if there's so much more left. Like that was one of my biggest complaints. I'd say is like these Pokemon that we got. I'm not really excited about, and I'm like, this is kind of it. At least for the first pack. So, and I was gonna say the second DLC, like they didn't show us much. They just showed that it's like a battle facility and that the turtle exists. I think that there's gonna be. They showed those 4 characters too, so they have a purpose. And if you notice, this is one of my tweets I'm gonna send out eventually, is that they don't have their Pokemon out. Like, so we have the 3 starters out, but on the other side we don't have the other people's Pokemon out
because there's more Pokemon there, but they ain't gonna show us them.
Yep, something's missing, which is it's just like how the other DLC was. They didn't show us. They showed us mostly the first pack, and then the second pack was a little more mysterious. So
yeah, and the second pack had more in that one too. I mean, it had way more in the first.
They would probably call new regional forms Paldean forms because it's still right off the coast of Paldea. Like
that is an interesting point.
It's connected. Like what would they call it?
Kitakami forms. Kitakami forms.
Right?
We did
what do they call them?
Yeah, we did talk about it earlier. Like the locations, we don't know where the locations are for sure. Like it's just pure speculation. Yeah. But I think that the Blueberry Academy is right off the coast of Paldea. It's like where the Azores is probably supposed to be and where Atlantis would have been.
Azores would make sense.
Yeah, so I think that it's all of that combined together. That's where I think it is. There's also a picture of a map and you're talking about 230 returning Pokemon. Where are we going to do this? It's not in like a little base underwater. There's going to be a whole land underwater, and there's probably going to be a big chunk of
Dusty, do you have that screen where like it has the base information for them, where at the bottom you noticed it said
of what?
Of the DLC, it had the trainers, and on one side it said like, subject to change the release date.
I'll look for it. You guys keep talking.
Well, anyways, on there it says on that screen, it talks about how it says under the. No, it's not that one. It's the one like you showed it earlier in the episode. It just says the teal mask, and then next to it is a picture of those characters in the Jinbei outfits. But I think it's all right. So go to Indigo Disc. It says most of the academy is under the ocean. Yeah. Most of is the key word there.
Yeah, I think it's going to be bigger than what we're seeing right now, for sure.
We're going to have to do another Atlantis episode with this new information.
Absolutely. Did you notice, especially the girl's outfit? It to me is obviously it isn't, but it's very reminiscent of like a scuba suit.
Yeah, I can see it's supposed to be aquatic, I think, because they're going underwater. Like the whole thing is underwater.
She looks sick. She looks like a champion.
Okay, I will point out too. I've mentioned this before on here, but Koraidon and Miraidon have a special sound effect.
Yes.
When you go off a waterfall and they go underwater, they make a little noise. Do you think Koraidon and Miraidon might be able to swim underwater?
Yeah.
In these, like, do you think we'll get to explore underwater in these games?
Yeah.
Or will it just? I mean, that dude. I'm not gonna lie. That'd be legit.
And there's also if there's diving in this game, there's also diving in Generation 5.
Oh my gosh.
Nice.
We're gonna go to the Abyssal Ruins in this game. It's gonna be
Bro,
right next
think
to.
about it. That's a treasure.
Yeah.
There's also diving in Generation 3, so ports.
It all comes together. Cool.
Yeah, I honestly thought I was ready to kind of do a larger breakdown, but we still have a lot of like initial thoughts. So this was a good episode.
Yeah, there'll be more, I'm sure, of us just breaking down individual things, especially because as time goes on, just like with Scarlet and Violet, as time goes on, we're going to, even with just this basic information, someone's going to say, oh, hey, did you notice that this little pixel on this art has coordinates to the Sahara Desert, Africa, I mean, we're gonna.
There's so much more to be discovered. There's no doubt, and we are like, I'm holding back a bunch of stuff for other times because just to not make this go too long. We could talk about their clothes. We could talk about the mask more. There's so much stuff to go into still.
Yeah.
But yeah, those are deeper dives.
You guys want to wrap it up?
Into the water.
All right.
Yeah.
Deeper dives. I see what you did there.
Gen
3 ports.
Gen 3 ports, man. We
Gen
need
3
to.
ports.
Those Gen 3 ports are coming as soon as Pokemon Home gets announced. It's gonna happen. But if you guys are still watching, hit the subscribe button. Thank you so much for watching. Leave us a review if you're on iTunes or any other podcast platform. Signing off, guys.
Go buy our merch.
We'll see you soon. Go buy our merch.
Down below. Bye.
See ya.